What's up, Sim Racers? This is Larry at TJR Sim here. And today I'm going to just give you a little intro to the Simlabs P1-X cockpit that I'm going to be, rig that I'm going to be building with a triple monitor stand setup. I'll be transferring this triple monitors over and everything, of course, all my equipment from the Simlabs K2 rig over to the P1-X. PC as well, we'll of course go over there. I plan on sticking the PC on the back of the triple monitor stand. Nice clean look. My idea is to be able to just walk around this whole area and without a table being in the way and stuff, and everything being nice and tidy, and be able to get to cords and anything else that I need to get to. Be able to easily remove my PC for cleaning or whatever. But yeah, just tidy it up, and plus have a rig that I can mount a lot of different things on it without any problems. So instead of using 80-20 and stuff, or that's 80-10, that's 10-10, or I guess right there for the Aiologs shifter and stuff. So instead of trying to figure out ways to get everything mounted up on the Simlabs K2, this is going to be a lot more straightforward and stuff, as well as being a lot sturdier as well for direct drive wheels. Allow me to test out other direct drive wheels in the future. So yeah, looking forward to it as well. Just want to give you a quick introduction to it. Everything comes packaged very well, as you can see. I actually wrote the names on each of the box after I opened them up, just to re-familiarize myself with it, with the building process a little bit quicker. But you can see that some of them are actually, most of them are all labeled. Some of them are covered stickers, but keyboard tray is labeled and stuff. So what we got here, what we ordered here for the setup is, of course, adjustable feet. We got triple monitor brackets and stuff in here, pedal tray, PC tray. Of course, here's the wheel deck. We did the flat wheel deck for us, so nice thick wheel deck. It actually looks a little bit smaller in person than I thought than it does on camera. So camera adds a few inches, I think. So, but yeah, very heavy duty. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be, but it's pretty heavy duty stuff. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with this at all, especially after seeing so many great reviews on this product. But I did order it for the channel. My own money, wasn't gifted or for review or anything. This is just my impressions as a normal sim racer out there. So as you can see, everything comes packaged up well. I did have an issue with UPS. One of the boxes was kind of water damaged, and some of these screws and stuff kind of was broken out of the bag. So hopefully I'm not missing anything there. But yeah, big bags of screws. All your little end caps and stuff come in one bag. Nice and easy. Of course, you got all your little angle mounts and stuff here in 2 bags. This looks like the seat stuff and the side rail for it. The I do want to note, since I'm transferring over the Next Level Racing rig, if you're doing the same thing, you want to get these brackets. Actually, they're pretty cool. Come over here real quick, but you can see that it's gonna mount up something like that. Oops. You're gonna utilize 3 of the holes there, and then of course that's going to sit down in the rig itself, but it comes with 1 for $29. I thought that would have been quantity 2 for $29. It wasn't very clear on the website, so I had to order another one, and I went ahead and ordered another bag of screws and side brackets, just in case, just to make it worth shipping another package over, because I can always end up using more of the screws and stuff for something down the road. But yeah, just a little FYI for you. But I also got some casters for it as well. I wasn't sure if I was going to use these, even though I did get the big adjustable feet here as well, which is packaged nice, real thick too. It should be able to hold up the weight no problem with a person sitting in there, obviously. on the rig. But if anything, these will work out good. If I ever need to move this thing around, I can just bolt these to the bottom of the rig and lower the feet down and move it around. So I may even stick them on the monitor stands to be able to roll that around as well. Hadn't decided yet. So, but I got them just in case. You know, it's coming from the Netherlands. Easier to order it up front and pay a little extra. I think it's like 13 bucks, so it wasn't a big deal. Now, also in the kit, I got butt kickers plates. So these are for the mini LFEs. 4 of them there. So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, it comes with all the screws, which are individually labeled, as you can see here, which is really cool that they did this. It's not just a big bag of screws and you got to figure out everything. So everything's labeled really nicely, actually. I like it. These don't have a label on it, but it's pretty obvious what they are. These are the little clips that you screw into the channel, and you can zip tie to hold your wires and stuff. So I got 2 bags of these. Let's see what it is. This is the Heusinkveld plate here to use for the handbrake. So a nice black powder coated as well. Cup holder, gotta have a cup holder. Gotta be able to hold your drink when you're driving. See, you got the mouse pad, went ahead and do that too. Just to keep everything nice and compact. I could, of course, use my Next Level Racing one, which I like. I'll probably use those pads, but I wanted everything to be nice and compact and tidy, a little bit more tidy. So now you'll see here, I got the sim floor here. Get some of this out of the way. Man, that thing is gorgeous. This sim floor looks really good. Look at that. Really nice. I love this texture they have on here for the grip and stuff. So yeah, really nice. Can't wait to get that in there as well. Got the speaker brackets here, just 2 of them, because I just have a 2.1 system. My sub will stay on the floor, and then I'll probably figure out some way to hook my speakers up in here. I don't recall if they have mounts on the back of them or not, but anyway, got those as well. Coming on over, triple monitor stand set up here. Of course, you know, you got all your extruded aluminum here, as you can see. Your 2, sorry, what, these 3 of these long ones here. Step back a little bit here. These 3 long ones here, which of course is going to be your runners right there. And then of course your feet, and then that being your base as well. So anyway, just a quick look at what all comes in a box in there. And actually all this stuff is packaged, you know, of course I have it out of the box now, but it's packaged and wire tied together, so you can actually pull it out of a box within a box, you know, and everything's comes nice and clean and not scratched up and bubble wrapped to death. So good stuff. But anyway, that's just a quick look. Next segment, I'll just show a little brief sections of the build just to show the progress of it. Won't go too in depth with it with this, because you know you got some great videos out there already, and I don't want to you know, replicate the exact same stuff. So if I see something along the build that I want to point out to y'all, I will of course point it out to you. So anyway, let's get on to the build. All right, I'm out. All right, sim racers. So you can see here, I got the sim rig kind of put together here as far as the base, where the base seat's going to go, and you're going to want to grab your seat adjuster, or your seat mount rather, and line it up here. Set it in here gently so you don't scratch anything up, and you're going to want to line it up. You know, this one of course is going to be flush against here. That's pretty easy as far as where you're going to line it up. And then you're going to want to adjust this one out to where you're flush here as well. And so what I suggest is kind of move this into place to where you're pretty flush there, and then start putting in your screws and stuff. That way you don't end up putting in screws ahead of time and having to bump this forward and chance scratching up your railing and stuff. So just a little tip there. But this would be your distance and stuff. And then of course, you know, take your trusty tape measure there, and then measure across this way to make sure you got the same distance here, same distance over there, and then go ahead and go diagonal across and make sure that you're square as far as the same measurements both ways, right? So pretty easy peasy there. Now obviously you're looking here at what's going to be the bottom. It's easier just to mount these up as you're building it, your feet and stuff, you know, in this case. And you got the, you know, of course, the little snap-in, little grommets, you know, that fit in there and snap them in, and comes with the screws and stuff for the feet. So nice stuff here. Now this is, being that this is going to be on the bottom, you know, we'll flip it up on side down, and this is going to be on the opposite side. Now I'm not actually going to use these in my case, because I have the Next Level Racing V3 rig, so mine's going to have this little bracket in here instead. So I'll have a couple extra little pieces that I could use to mount other things or cut and do whatever I want with later on. So, but yeah, this is one I'm going to be using here, which I should get here Monday. The other piece of this one here Monday. So, but going on to the legs, or the feet here, I like these. There's really nice thick brackets, plates here. I mean, you can hold a pretty big person in this setup. These are real nice and thick. I didn't measure them, but you can tell how dang beefy they are. And of course, you got these rods here. And what's interesting here is you got these cups that set here and rotate in. So if you do have unlevel floor, you know, this is going to adjust for it. Of course, your rod, these are going to take, to tighten them up here, zoom in here. Come on now. 24 mil. And if you're like me, I don't have two 24 mil wrenches. So you can sub it out for another 15/16 if that'll focus on here. Will it focus? Trust me, it's 15/16. So anyway, yeah, obviously, you know, both directions and stuff. Tighten them up. I'm actually setting this up to where I have full extension, because I want this off the floor as much as possible. So it allows me to clean underneath the rig real easy, and it gives you a good 6 inches of extra distance. So that's actually really nice that you got this extra, you know, height off the floor and stuff, and you don't have to set down into the seat so far. So I really like these setups here. And of course, it comes with all the, you know, the hardware, 2 big nuts. And it actually comes with 8 washers, so you got a washer per side, which is nice. And of course, you can change and adjust these on the fly once you're on the ground, if you want to adjust to your preferred height. But I just ran it till it's flush against the bottom here, and that's where I want to have it. But it comes with everything in the kit here. What's interesting is you got these cups, right? And you got these little rubber pieces here that fit in the cup, and you pretty much just let's see, one-handed here, slide it in here and just press it into place with your thumb like so. You'll feel it snap in, you'll feel the air push out from underneath it, and so then you got nice rubber feet so it doesn't slide around on you. So really cool. I like it. I don't, being that I'm on carpet, I probably don't need the rubber feet, but you know, they're there, so why not put them on there? Now you will notice this ball joint looking rod here, spherical. It doesn't put, you can put a lot of pressure on it, but it doesn't really go in. So oddly enough, the one thing you'll need is a hammer when building this sim rig, so which is kind of funny. But yeah, they snap into place, as you can see here. I actually just put this on. Since the rig is setting at this stage here, it's easier to just go ahead and mount my legs up, and then of course flip it over, and then I can put the seat mount and stuff on there afterwards. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to be using that, but I will be using this one. So just bang it into place. I just, you know, set it there with a rubber mallet, gave it, or not rubber mallet, but with a hammer, banged it into place, and it snapped right in, pretty easy peasy. So anyway, just a quick little rundown of the stage that I'm in right now, in the building stage. Let's move on to the next. This is the seat area and the legs. Bye. All right, so let's get on to building the legs, the side portion here that's going to hold your wheel deck into place. And pretty simple instructions anyway, just kind of breaking down these stages for you here. Be careful which one you get here. This one is calling out for the B16. If you look in the back of the chart here, they actually label, you know, which one is which, right? So B16 is a 20 mil. You also have a 25 mil long one, which 25 mil would be too long if you were to, for instance, use that one. On this case, you can see I'll show you real quick. This is the 20 mil. And if you were to slide it in here, try and do it by hand here, one hand, but slide it in here, your bolt will be nice and flush within the dish like it's supposed to be. Obviously, if you had the longer one, it's gonna pop out a little bit further. So you'll quickly find that out if you got the wrong one, but just something to pay attention I wanted to point out. Also, moving on as far as the placement of this on the rod here, I got it flush with the bottom here. It's pretty much what the instructions show anyways. But you would want to do that because you're going to want this as tall as possible, because remember, when you have the wheel deck, you can actually adjust the wheel deck within the channel there to the height you want. So yeah, pretty good stuff. You will of course see that this particular plate here has the recesses for these screws. This one being the part that's actually going to go against here. And trying to be careful here, I don't want to scratch anything up. Of course, I got my little, I forget what those are called, little grommets there that we're using. These, of course, will go here on this side, right? And screw on in like so. So yeah, pretty good. You know, of course, once you have this one built together, you know, you can build it here off on the side here and then slide it out here. And this actually uses a little bit smaller 5 mil to tighten it up. Get this out of the way, but it'll go like that. So easy peasy. This stuff is really easy to build. I'm actually taking my time on doing it just because I just savor in the moments. It's actually just a lot of fun to build this stuff, and I'm in and out today anyway. So yeah, good stuff. Let's get on to the next. All right, so we've got the side mounts put up here, which is going to hold my shifters, and of course I just put a mouse tray here as well. That's pretty easy peasy, nice sturdy. It's a thin piece, but does the job, should do the job just fine. I'll actually put my Heusinkveld and my my handbrake in the what is it, the Aiologs shifter will be in this little area here. And I haven't quite put on the sim floor and stuff yet, but you can see everything's kind of coming together. Got the butt kicker mounts right there on both sides. Hey, oddly enough, being that this is raised up 6 inches, it does give you some room to go ahead and stick those on as well. But you know, my wrench is a little long, so I have to kind of pick it up and then finish tightening down with that. But yeah, I like that this side mount here is pretty versatile. So you know, you got your typical little triangle right here where you put both of your nuts in there. You just need one on top and bottom, and then of course put your caps on it afterwards. But you know, you got this whole rod to go up and down on as far as where you adjust it, and you got, you know, a couple of different options. You could, if you wanted to go shorter so it doesn't stick down into the ground, obviously you can use a shorter one if you wanted to. Right now I got, like, I guess a medium length one, but I could have used this tall one here and had it up even higher. So yeah, it gives you some options to play with. I may end up switching this around once I actually get my seat in there and see how far the motion part of the seat moves. If it hits this, if it does hit this, which I don't think it does, from seeing some other people do it, it should be fine. But if it does, I'll stick it out here on the outside to give it some clearance. But all in all, it's pretty good. Now, if you're looking for this particular bracket right here that holds it on, the base part of it on, look for it in your bag that has all of your little end caps and stuff on it, because that's where I found mine. I was like, man, they didn't give me a bracket, and dumped those all out, and then there it was. So, but yeah, this is going along pretty good. Now we got the top. Let me stand up here. We got the top wheel deck on there. Pretty damn sturdy, if you ask me. I could sit on this or stand on it all day long. Got 3 screws that hold it in. You'll want to use the washers, so when you tighten it down, you don't, well, you got more surface area, of course, to tighten down against with the washers, but you won't start digging into the material itself. But yeah, 3 of those. I actually just put it level for right now. This is pretty much how I'm going to have it anyways, at the highest, maybe the highest level, because, you know, with that next level racing seat or unit there, you tend to set a little bit higher out of the cockpit anyway, or off the rig anyways, even though it's going to be recessed. So you know, that's something you can adjust on the fly, up and down wherever you need it. So we'll see how that goes. Next, we'll be putting in the sim floor right there. And yeah, it's coming together pretty good. All in all, very, very sturdy rig. Heavy duty stuff here. So, all right, let's move on to the next. All right, guys, so now we're at the pedal tray section here. And you can see here I got one pre-mounted up here. I actually put them, like you'll see here on this side, I'm going to utilize these two top channels. That way, as you can see here, I'll be able to raise this up a little bit higher, which I think is what I'm going to like as far as trying to get my heels level with my butt for more, what I'm understanding is more of a, you know, GT style, GT3 style racing configuration. So I'm using two on each side. Of course, you know, run the little grommets there in there, and you know, stay particular with which way you do it. You know, another thing, you know, you can run the long side on the inside. That way, when you're looking at it this way, you're not seeing any of that sticking out past there. So that's what I ended up doing. And you will see here on this bottom one, zoom in a little bit, you've got these, you know, 4 holes here and these 2 up here, and they're going to go, of course, to the inside of it. So when you put in your flathead screw, it'll be recessed nice and flat. So you can, and then of course you got these 2 pieces here, right here, for your front and rear part of your plate. You can actually mount this thing any way you want to. The pictures show it facing out this way. You can of course flip it and turn it out that way. You could have it upside down if you wanted to, for whatever configuration, but this is the way I'm going to go with in the beginning, because I can always slide this back to where I want it, and yeah, and then of course raise it up a little bit. I may like it just at this height right here. This may be enough, but I wanted to allow myself a little bit of adjustability to change it on the fly, so that's why I went with these 2 channels right here. Now this one here will fit, you know, once you put that other one up in there, it'll fit right in here in the front of it. And what it has is it has tapped holes here already. Of course, obviously, get over here to this side here, you'll have the screws, the dish screws, of course, fitting in there like so to hold it together. But the back one, I'm going to use right here in these rails here, and that's where that's going to set here. And that way I can sit here and adjust it forward and aft to my liking. So, and it just depends on where the pedals and stuff are going to go there. But same thing there, you will actually have the screws sitting in here recessed. So if you were, you know, of course, to have this down below the channel, you know, it wouldn't be hitting anything. So this is where you'd use these flatheads here. So anyway, so that is how it goes together. It's just really, it's one of these things that you put together and you're really not sure how you're gonna have it until you put your pedals up here, and you may come back and loosen up these 4 bolts on each side and then start sliding it forward and backwards, you know, as a whole unit, of course. And you may even decide that, shoot, I want it lower or higher, and then of course you can raise it up. So I picked you know, the 2 channels that I know I at least figure I'll be able to be fairly happy with at least this elevation. But I may want to tilt it, and I can do that at this elevation and be fine with that, or just raise the whole thing up at that point. But if you wanted to go all the way down and make it flush, you could do that as well. So lots of options here, but it's one of these things you'll put together, put your pedal tray together, mount your hardware up here, and then start adjusting. So the real work comes into moving all your old gear over to the new setup. That's the real work. This thing actually is a piece of cake to build, so really cool. All right, let's go on to the next part of it. All right, gang, so now I just wanted to show you quickly what the pedal deck looks like together here. You can see that, of course, this top widest part of the deck here has to go in these spots here. And you can see how it's recessed. You know, if you did have this below this channel, this is all recessed for you. Of course, this one here is in these slots here. I can slide it forward and backwards, or I could have mounted it down in these two holes or these two holes if I wanted to. Of course, you would be a fixed point at those. Wouldn't allow you to be able to slide it back and forth. But right now, I just have everything hand tight here. You can see the 4 screws here. You could, of course, put it down here as well, but it would limit you how much you could adjust this up and down, of course. So I don't know why you do that, but that's what it looks like on the inside. So now I can, of course, like I just showed you, slide it all the way forward. Quite a bit of play in how much room you may need distance-wise, you know. So maybe like the Fanatic Club Sport pedals, you would have these at this distance would actually work pretty good for the front of it, and then you would have enough room in here to slide underneath and plug in to your pedals and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then of course this would handle the bulk of the rest of the pedals on there. So this channel stuff, you can do pretty much anything with it with this 80/20 stuff. So and then of course now I'm leaving it loose, so that way it'll allow me to raise and lower it to wherever I want to, or just tilt it up at that angle if I want it to. So yeah, really versatile stuff. So I'm loving it, man. This thing's going together nice. But yeah, all right. Next part, we'll put in the side plate there, and I'll probably leave it loose as well, because like I said, once I get my seat in, then I'll figure out where I need to adjust the shifter mount and stuff. So the side rail going this way will be the shifter mount, which is what you see right there, rather. And of course the pedal deck will go up here as well. So anyway, let's get on to the next segment. All right, guys, so now we're on to the actual floor plate, the base plate rather, to put it on there and the insert there to have a nice sim floor there, like you got a floor in a car. Went ahead and pre-installed the T-nuts there, as you can see. Did finally figure out what the heck you call those things, right? So I pre-installed them, put them in whatever channel you want, depending on how high up you want your floor. This one was a little bit more trial and error to figure out, because I did kind of tighten it down where I thought I needed them, and then didn't need them there. So you're, in conclusion, really what you're going to want to do is pre-install, excuse me, the 4 brackets here, and you're going to have them face them outwards, and you're going to want to go ahead and snap all. Get it in camera here, facing outwards, right? You can snug them up a little bit, but you got these little nylon inserted nuts here that keep it from backing out. And you're going to want to go ahead and snap off all of the little tabs that are on there, because they will be in your way when you try to set it down into the rig, so you don't actually scratch up your channel. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Snap off all the tabs, pre-install these in here with the face outwards. And then if you're doing it yourself, of course, you're gonna want to kind of just slide it in like so, and then screw it in by yourself, one at a time, going to each side and stuff. And that's pretty much how you can end up doing it, quickly yourself. So good stuff there. Not too hard. It was just a little bit of trial and error of how to get these in here. For some reason, I'm having a little brain farts with these suckers. So, but yeah, to figure out which screws go to which, you'll use the black screws, because that way it matches this this powder coated look. And then of course your silver socket A cap screws for your T-nuts in there. So, all right, so that's the sim floor. All right, so I went ahead and mounted up the keyboard mount. It's pretty easy to do. As you can see here, and it fits a full-size keyboard. Well, actually, you can't see how easy it was to do because I didn't show you the build, but I'll point it out here real quickly. What you have here is this knuckle here, and you have these little anti-rotation tabs in here. The bigger one fits inside the little knuckle groove, and these will, of course, fit into your channel, so keep it from rotating around, right? So just like the tabs on the little angle brackets that you have, like these. So yeah, you got 2 of them. There's 4 places for them to put them in there, so however way you want to orientate it. Pretty cool. And then it has, you put a socket A cap screw in there, your T-nut on the inside, and that's it. Attach it there. Of course, you have this bracket here that comes, and it is Comes with the two flathead screws, or Allen head screws right here. And it's already tapped, of course, into this channel itself. So just screw that on there. And you got a socketed cap screw here. It doesn't come with a washer, but I had a bunch of extra washers in the package over here, so I just went ahead and added a washer as well, just to not chip up the paint or anything when you tighten it down. And I do like that it is recessed in here, as far as you know, when you put your nut in there, it anti-rotation in there with this nylon nut. So yeah, pretty cool that that's already cast in there. Of course, it's on both sides, but you know, you only need, depending on however you want to warranty it, you know, so it's already there. Now, to adjust your actual angle of the keyboard, you'll just loosen this one up and then adjust your angle that you want, and obviously move it up and down the channel to where you want it. And if you want to tighten up the tension of you being able to move this in and out, you can just tighten up these screws here on both sides and stiffen up the tension a little bit so it doesn't swing so easy in and out. And there's one on top and bottom, right? So yeah, pretty easy stuff there. That's the keyboard mount. I'll cover the Heusinkveld as well real quick. I have a Heusinkveld bracket here, and luckily, since I had so much extra 80/20 sitting around in here with this kit, I grabbed these two short pieces that you would normally use, that you could use here for your sidearm, and put one there and one there, and built it with two angles up here and two here to hold it in place, because I really like my handbrake up high as possible, so when I'm driving I can just reach over to the right and yank the handbrake. And plus I wanted to put the Aiologs shifter down here as well, in a more natural driving position when you're shifting, right? So that's how I have that. Now, the only problem I found with the Heusinkveld bracket is these, I'll drop one, but these socketed cap screws are actually too short here that comes with the kit to fit through this big angle bracket here. It looks like it would work. Oops, let me get up there high, but it doesn't really grab it too well because you know, these T-nuts set back into the channel pretty good. And what I ended up having is messing up one of the T-nuts here by stripping the thread out a little bit, because when I was yanking on this, it yanked it out of the nut out of the T-nut. So yeah, they're just a tad short. Of course, since we get so many extras in here, I don't know if you get them extra, but since I had extras in the kit, I just used two of the chrome ones, that socketed cap screws that are longer, you know, like 20 mil long. So those actually end up working just fine. But that was the only issue. If that's the only issue I found out of doing this whole kit, that's amazing. So that's it. Aiologs, of course, it comes with its own bracket to hook up for 80/20 or 80/10 or whatever you want to use. So I just grabbed two T-nuts on the inside, two socketed cap screws, screwed it down, got it right there. Went ahead and just stuck my Aiologs capacitor thing right there on the side, just double-sided sticky tape. So works good. I like that you got all these little end caps too that you can add to it. So anyway, as you can see, you got the keyboard holder. The drink holder is a must. So yeah, it's going together really, really well. Got the floorboard in, so that's working out great here. Next is to start trying to transfer the rest of the stuff over. So let's get on with the next. All right, real quick here, we're gonna look at the SIM holder here. It comes with, you know, really, they call it SIM holder, but you know, whatever you want to hold with it. Headsets. I'm gonna hold that particular Fanatic McLaren wheel right here, GT3, which it will fit in there. It'll hook under there just fine. For those that were probably wondering, it does fit just fine. So I'm gonna hook that up here on this particular channel here. All you do is, you know, slide it comes with the two T-nuts. Put your two T-nuts in here. You got the two socketed cap screws right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Line them up right there, screw it in, you're done. So put it where you want it. Pretty simple. So let's get on to the next. All right, sim racer. So now we're looking at the monitor stand here. This is the triple monitor stand. And what we got here is the hardware, the angle plates there, looks like little boomerangs. And then of course you've got your 3 plates to hold your monitors. You got the hardware, and then these 2 are little braces that go on the corners, from my understanding, back here. And another, it's not on this picture, but that's what it shows on the website. So you got 1, 2, 3 long legs that are 1200 millimeters, and 2 of them are going to be your uprights attached to those 2 short ones there, which will be your actual legs, horizontal. And then the extra long one is for your center monitor. And these 2 right here are for your side monitors. So let's get into the build. Alrighty, gang. So we got the first stage here of the triple monitor setup here. We got the bottom run, the legs rather. It's 580 long by 1200 for the vertical. These are going to be your uprights, and this is of course your base. And you're going to want to use, comes with 4 of these black angle brackets. You'll use them on the bottom. That's, make it look pretty basically. On here, and you're going to use the chrome socket A cap screws for the M8s in them. Of course, obviously a T-nut there, T-nut there, T-nut, T-nut on the inside of the channel. And while you're at it, you might as well go ahead and put your end caps on here, one on both sides, and your feet as well, why it's easier to do at this particular stage. Don't worry about the black nuts. You'll use them later on in the build. So all right, let's get on with the next. Alrighty, so got the feet all assembled here. The legs and the uprights together. This is what it's going to look like when it's done, when you got both pairs done, or when you have the pair of them done, rather. I got the feet installed, end caps installed. I actually measured the same distance from the edges for the feet on both of them, as well as the back, as well as measuring from your vertical post or channel to the back of it to keep it the same distance. That way everything is, weight distribution is equal throughout. So that's what I suggest as well. And go ahead and make sure, all the end caps are on. End caps are on there. So all right, next is to put the middle bar up next. All right, guys, so now we're doing the center section of the triple monitor stand here. And I pre-assembled one side of it, and of course one of the plates, or actually all 3 of the plates, just to make it easier to show you what's going on here. So the center one is 47 inches long, so you're going to want to find center of, this channel is 47 inches long. So find the center of it, measure it out. It's 23.5. And go ahead, my suggestion is you go ahead and mark it with a little marker or something right there. And when you put in your screws for this particular plate there, you can actually line up that hole pretty close to being dead nuts on there. So you're going to use, of course, the flathead screws that come with the kit, and the, I believe they're M6s. And then of course, the T-nuts that accompany those. And then go ahead and, while you're at it, you might as well put them on all of them, like I did. Now these, here are the edge ones. I haven't measured from the center of my monitor base mount to the edge yet, so you'll want to do that just so you can snug this down ahead of time before you mount up your base mount to the monitor, because your monitor is going to cover up these screws and you're not going to be able to get to them afterwards. So, oops. Also, when you go ahead and put on the side mounts here, you're going to want to, of course, these are using M8s, and you can go ahead and, add the T-nuts on top side and down side. And of course, make sure your brackets are both pointing top and bottom in the same direction here with this slot swinging outwards. And then while you're at it, go ahead and add 4 T-nuts in this one. Same thing, M8, 2 up here and 2 down here. And that way you can just slide this into place and line it up. And that'll allow you to go ahead and just swing this in and out like so, for when you have, your monitors mounted, obviously, right? So pretty cool. Got quite a bit of quite a bit of swing here. I can't remember the degrees. I think it's 40 to like 70 degrees, something like that. but quite a bit there. And obviously, you know, we'll have to put this whole center section up on the stands itself. I'll get to that here in a second. But if you're like me, you're doing it by yourself, you can just pre-assemble this stuff all on the floor up front, so making it a little bit easier on yourself. So anyway, we'll go on to the next section, and I will, of course, have it assembled and standing upright, and then measured off for my monitors and stuff. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, gang, so I got this whole unit assembled as far as the sidearms go, the center mount, and the other left side as well. The angles on there, and I'm gonna need to install the legs to it. So it makes it a little difficult doing it by yourself. However, the way I was originally gonna do it, which was following the instructions, was to use these two 80s. Well, there's no 80s in the kit for me to use. So I was like, well, okay, I'll just use 240s. I'll put 240s here. And then I realized, well, I'm gonna need 240s here so this leg can't swing out. So eight 40s on each side. And then I noticed that these screws were actually too long for them. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to use my chrome screws for it. So, and then I'm like, okay, this is not right. Let me check it out some more. So I was like, what is this bracket for? So this diamond shaped bracket is actually an upgrade kit that comes with it. And if you go to the website, you'll find the PDF to download. I didn't print it off here, but what it does is it does what you see here. It sandwiches itself in between, you know, onto this channel here with T-nuts backside, and these two you're gonna screw in with T-nuts on your legs. I got some T-nuts in there already, and to hang it up. So remember to put your T-nuts kind of in the right direction so you don't have them hanging out past the bracket. You know, like this is not hanging out past the bracket. You can't see the T-nuts. But yeah, it's pretty easy there, and it's actually a lot more stable, and you're using a lot less hardware to get the same job done. So yeah, great job. Of course, then it allows you to go ahead and slide, you know, the whole bracket all the way out to the edge if you need it to, for the extra room around your rig, as well as sliding this all the way up to the top. So how it's going to end up looking, something like this. I'll do it one-hander here. So you'll have, you know, your leg across your diamond plate right there. Yeah, 2 screws, boom, you're done. So pretty sweet, pretty sweet. I like that upgrade kit on there. So cool deal. All right, so if you're running into this issue, hope this will help you out as well. All right, let's get on to the next. All right, so as you can see, got a hole in my sock. Yeah, got these diamond brackets on here. I actually just went all the way flush. I'm not sure how high I'm gonna be, since on my P1-X I have the 6-inch lift on there. But for now, well, I'll move this one up to the edge as well. But yeah, makes it real easy to do it by yourself on the floor, because you can just set this one on here and then just lift up on this edge to make it flat, you know, obviously with it, and start screwing them in, and then lay it down and slide the other one underneath it as well. And now you can just pick up the whole unit by yourself. So really like this upgrade kit, or the way they redesigned it right now. So good stuff. All right, so let's move on to the next. Whew, man, so that's done. Got this baby all hooked up, triple monitor stand set up. I got just a tiny gap right there that I haven't got out yet. Might finagle it with it a little bit more. You're not really gonna, well, when you're setting here, at this point when you're driving, center screen's lined up 50 inches from the ground, which is where my eyeballs are when I sit in the P1-X. So yeah, you're not gonna see it. So that's pretty good. And you can, of course, rotate these monitors further out and in. I'm just gonna leave them in, because honestly, it's a little bit of a pain to roll them out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So when you get into this area here, after I put the center monitor on, this is what I ended up doing. I put the center monitor on and got it all mounted up. I actually broke one of the tabs in there because they kept backing out on me. I tightened it up just a little too tight and broke off the tab. So I only have 3 holding this one on because the stud is still stuck into the monitor. But oh well, it's on par for some of the stuff I do sometimes. But anyway, after you get this one mounted up, you know, this is your main one. Set your height the way you want it, center of your eyes basically, and make it easier so you don't have to adjust it in the software, because not all games let you adjust the height of it. So get that set, and then that's your base point for the rest of them. So what ended up happening, since these are 32-inch monitors, and this can go up to I think 40 inch or 42 inch or something like that, these were a little bit too far in, and this was way too far out, so I had it out around here, and so I had to just loosen it up and adjust it in. And to do that, the easiest way to do it was to loosen these two, top and bottom right there, and then push it back to where you want it. And what happens is you end up getting it pretty dang close, pushed back this way, but you want to go ahead and adjust this angle out to where you want it, and this is where I want it, here at the max inward angle. But anyway, you'll pull this over to the left here in this case to get it a little bit inward. There we go. See my inward of the monitor, and then hold the arm. You're going to end up having to hold the arm up a little bit and tighten down this screw and this one as you hold the monitor arm up, just so it'll be level across there, although it's just a tad off, but that's pretty damn close. This one is on the money, actually. This one's just a couple millimeters off, so I can live with that. But yeah, you're gonna end up having to hold that arm, and it really takes this one, and this one to get that arm level across there. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain. So I don't see myself actually, well, it's easy enough to adjust, right? But I don't see myself loosening this one up, and bottom enough to adjust this arm in and out, and then get back out of the rig and tighten it up so it'll set, zoom out here, so it'll set level with your top monitor. So yeah, that's not really, it's, in theory it's fine, and probably if I wasn't on carpet and I was on a level hardwood floor, or maybe even linoleum or wood or tile or something like that, that where it would set completely level and without having a little bit of cushioning to it, I might be able to get away with that. But for carpet, nah, not really. It's too much of a pain in the butt to do that. So set it, forget it, climb in and out of your rig accordingly. This rig's actually a lot easier to climb in and out of than the Simatech was, so not too bad. But yeah, all in all, it actually worked out really good. After I got the arms pushed in this way, what I ended up doing here for the monitor, now the monitor at this point was pushed too far to the left. And it was too hard to actually try to show video on me this, because there's a lot of tedious back and forth, but too far to the left. So then what I did was just measure how much gap my monitor stuck over, took off the monitor again, took out 2 screws and left them out, and just put 2 screws, and then took all 4 screws out rather, right? But then before I finalized on my adjustment, I just put in these 2 across here just to make sure I got it all right before I cinch everything down. And so anyway, you take all 4 screws off, pop your monitor off, and then loosen up the 4 Allen heads that are on this plate, and move it out. So I just measured it out. This is like 2 3/4 in this case for this monitor, from the edge of the channel and to this piece here. And I left the screws loose in there so I could put the monitor right back on and just fine tune it just a little bit. Did that, took the monitor back off, cinched them down, cinched the socket head cap screws in here, the flathead cap screws in here, put the monitor in, installed it, and then you're done, right? So a little bit of back and forth to set up your monitor. So don't get worried. It's easy to, it's, you know, easy enough to do. Once you do the first one, figure out you need to go in this way a little bit, and then, or sorry, go in forward this way a little bit to get your monitors closer, and then back the monitor back out on this channel here. So highly adjustable as far as that goes. Of course, the right side was just the same. So like I said, when you're sitting here racing, which head will be in about this area, it won't be a problem. So all right, well, that's the monitor stand built. Went together fairly well after I figured out how to do it. This was a little different than monitor build that you might have seen on Sim Racing Garage. Barry, I watched his and it didn't apply to me because they've updated their monitor stand since then. So yeah, hopefully this will be helpful for other people as well out there. And until next time, I'm out. Okay, Sim Racer, so here is the final walk around video of the rig. And this is, of course, the P1-X rig with the triple monitor stands from Simlabs. This is the final build and walk around for your pleasure. So you can see what it looks like all came together. So as you can see here, the monitor stands are perfect. I got them at 60-degree angles. And so I want to look over to the right. That's what I see. Look over to the left. That's what I see. So yeah, it works really well. I would note that, you know, these things are really, really sturdy. So if you bump into them, you know, you can shake the whole rig together, right, of the monitor stands. That's just normal. But you don't lose alignment, and that's what I really wanted to point out. So when you come over here and you start adjusting your screen or your monitor screen and stuff, you tend to, when you click the little buttons, you tend to move this monitor in and out. At least that's what I did when it was set up on the arms, right? Well, it doesn't matter. If I bump into it, I don't lose alignment. I don't have to reposition. You know, I don't lose alignment forward and back, as well as it turning on me either. So, you know, you pretty much mount it, get everything situated the way you want it to, mounting it, which is a little bit cumbersome to do. But once you set it, you can forget it and be done with it. It'll be the last time you mess with it. So really good, very, very sturdy monitor stand. So really like that. Coming on down to the P1-X, of course, we got the McLaren GT3 Fanatic wheel with the SRM converter and B&G quick disconnect, and of course the AccuForce V2 DSD button boxes, my own designed and made button box holder out of aluminum. And yeah, everything's really mounted up, came together really nicely here. Heusinkveld shifter, very, very sturdy. I already showed you how I built that up in the shifter video. And then of course the Aiologs sequential shifter here. I actually have a lot more room this way than I did in my Simatech K2 because I had to have 80-10 off of here just to get this mounted up somewhere on there, because it just wasn't built for this type of add-on. It was built more for the Heusinkveld, but not necessarily, you couldn't necessarily add a Heusinkveld handbrake and a Heusinkveld shifter or Aiolog shifter together, right? So now, of course, they do have it where you can mount a shifter down below, but this is all about the P1-X right now. So yeah, it does give me a lot more leg room here. I do like it. This is substantially a bigger rig than I've ever sat in, actually, coming from play seats to R seats to Simatech to, oh my God, all kinds of rigs. I won't even name them all. And this is definitely the most sturdiest, or the most rigid rather rig that I have ever used out of all of them. This is a kind of a rig you'll buy, and once you buy it, you're done with it. You'll just keep adding to it. It'll be the last rig you have to buy. Of course, you can see my mouse pad over here. This is a wireless mouse, actually. I just have it plugged in right now to charge up. And originally, I was going to put my PC.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
There's my Siri. Sorry about that. Originally, anytime you say S, the SIRA comes on. So I was originally going to put the PC over here on the back, but it was just too big for that platform there. Plus, it would not allow me to be able to slide this whole rig out without removing the PC as well at the same time. And I was a little bit iffy if I was going to do that or not. So I ended up just putting the PC on the ground next to it on its own little glass platform. So it works out really good. Nice thing is this rig, I can just unplug 2 power cables and 2 USB cables that go to the PC and slide the whole rig out, not attached to the monitors or anything. So everything is separated, which is really nice. Monitor stand stays where it is. The power plug for the monitor stands all stay where they are. Everything's separated. I can move the monitor stuff as a unit, and I can move this whole P1-X as a unit as well. So really like that fact. Moving on down, you will see the Heusinkveld sprint pedals there mounted. I of course use the Heusinkveld pedal mount. I really like the way it looks, so I just kept it on there. You could direct mount those to the platform if you wanted to. As you can see, I chose not to because it's, like I said, I like this. It looks really cool. Adds a splash of color to it. So underneath that, of course, that's highly adjustable, as you saw in the build video. I got the sim floor in, works great. I can put my feet in it. I actually use this to step in and out of the rig, so it's very handy instead of going all the way to the floor, because this is a 6-inch lift after all. So, excuse my legs. Let me step on out of the rig, move on to other things here. So we also got, as you can see, the 2 plugs there. I have a plug for my Next Levelation V3, and of course the AccuForce. Just 2 little inline plugs that you could do on any rig, right? But since I was rebuilding everything, I put them in here on this one. Keep me from having to reach down in between the channel for the power button there. Now, of course, speaking of that, there's the Next Level Racing V3, and recessed in there nice and easy. And I also actually put some they're one-sided sticky tape, like velour pads underneath this plate. That way I can loosen up these 2 and the other 2 on the other side and slide this forward for a shorter person to be in it. And it got a good little 3.5 inches worth right there that I can move up, which should be plenty for some shorter people. And obviously you can move the pedal tray forward, but it's a little bit more cumbersome to loosen up 4 bolts over there and slide it forward and mess with the angle adjustment at the same time as opposed to this. This is much easier. Now, if you're someone that needs to have a lot of different size people using your rig, I would suggest upgrading to the slider tray for your pedals to be able to adjust that easily on the fly. But I like everything hard, rigid, never moving. I am predominantly the one that uses this 99% of the time. It's just those few anomalies. And so I did this just to be able to keep from scratching up my tube or my 80/20 when I slide it forward and back. So like I said, now let's go on to the transducers. Now the transducers are mounted up. They're cheap, inexpensive, not cheap, but they're inexpensive plates to mount your transducers on. I'm running 4 butt kickers, and they're wired in parallel, so the back 2 work in conjunction and the front 2 work in conjunction too. So it's just front and rear off of 1 amp, right? So they work good. Now, I don't normally talk about transducer mounts, but however, this rig is so solid that when they start vibrating and stuff, you actually feel a whole lot more. With my other rigs, all my other rigs actually, I had to fight the battle of trying to keep the rig from rattling or hearing the rattle and actually feel the vibrations through the seat and through my pedal tray. This rig has actually solved that problem, I'm so happy to say. I actually feel the stuff more than I feel the vibrations. I'm even able to turn on the extra heave mode in the Next Level Racing software and feel that as well through the transducers that I wasn't able to feel on the other one because it just vibrated everything so much. So yeah, this, you do have some rattle, but it is so minimal compared to what I used to experience. I mean, it's like I would be able to stand hearing it with my headphones off. And actually the family doesn't come by and close my doors anymore when I have the transducers going. So yeah, it's a significant increase mounting it up to something substantial like the Simlabs P1-X. So yeah, just a testament of how, the high quality build quality and using an all aluminum design. So now moving on to the back is probably the quickest, easiest way to show you. Those little tabs there, get a bunch of them. I ended up using around 30 of them. I originally bought 2 packs and then discovered I needed at least another 10 or 12 of them. So I ended up ordering 2 more packs, but you got to wait for it. So I would suggest buying 40 of them initially. If you have some extras, big deal. You know, you're going to use them eventually as you mount up new stuff to your rig. So yeah, very, very handy little cable ties rather. Now, you know, when you, like me, you don't really see anything. You don't see no wires there. It's just very clean build when you use those. And I use this wire loom stuff here that I've been using forever. Keep everything nice, you know, all your wires and stuff combined and looking nice and clean and out of the way instead of seeing a bunch of wires. Same thing when you come over to the right side here, you got your cup holder. Yeah, that's probably the most necessary part on this rig. But yeah, as you can see, it just carries on nice and clean, tidy wiring system here. Even underneath there is not too gaudy. I mean, I could even clean that up a little bit more, but I generally you don't see that, and it's not really necessary. Off to the side here, I just have this for my iPhone to be able to mount up and plug in my iPhone here to the side. And you can see, of course, I use my wire loom for the rest of that on the side as well. So wire loomed as much as you possibly can. Enough looseness here for your mouse cable. This is for, of course, the Aiologs. And I got my Heusinkveld mounted right there on the side as well. So it looks pretty cool. Nice and clean as much as possible. Because I hate wires and I hate seeing a big cluttered mess. So it's easy to keep it clean with the Simlabs. All right, so let's go into the back of the monitor stand. As you can see, carrying over the nice clean theme. Got 2 of the rim holders there mounted, and 1 on the right side as well. And wire loom throughout. Come on, slip back here in the back. And of course you can see everything mounted up. Got the, excuse my fingers there, the using the Echo Gear power strip, 3 power plugs plugged it in. I got more than I really need right now, which is fine. This I left undone. It's not that big of a deal. You don't see it unless you walk back here and see it. But yeah, it's really hard to get. I didn't have thick enough wire loom to put all that in. So this is like 1-inch diameter. I would need something like 3-inch diameter wire loom, and then it would still be a stretch. So didn't use that. But of course, you use the wire ties where I could. I might wire tie this back down here actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just to keep it from flopping outwards, right? The 3 power bricks for the monitors, sticky taped on. Works good. Sticky tape is your friend, double-sided. And of course, you know, all the cables coming down that are going to go all the way down to your PC, and that's the amp right there. This is the only part where it gets a little bit messy as far as what you see what, but it's not really messy. This is the 2 USB cables that come out and a little bit extra cable because they're really long extensions tucked over here behind it. You know, internet cable here, this internet for the other setup on that side. And yeah, wire loomed it all together. And here's the power brick back here, power strip rather. These are the 2 plugs you'll unplug and push the whole rig out, as well as those 2 USBs will slide with the rig as well. And underneath here, this is where LEDs were just kind of covered up. I'm gonna probably redo this one, but anyway, got the power brick here and one on that side. Oh, to get in there, right there. And that's for everything for the rig. Basically, the power strips, the USB power strips, are plugged in to the rig itself. And that way, that'll allow you, and then of course that power strip had to plug in somewhere, which is this external one, right? So that way you just unplug those two, slide the rig in and out wherever you want to do it, wherever you want to, as your need arises, right? So that was the idea, to keep it as clean as possible, be able to slide things in and out. Now you could clean it up even more if you had measured out the appropriate length cables and stuff. Some of these cables like this, the power cable for the AccuForce, it's just extra cable that you don't need. And so you got to do something with it, right? So this is what we did with it here, or I did with it rather. So, but yeah, that's it. All in all, I think it's turned out to be amazing looking, and even better, it's easy to work on, and it's extremely rigid. And yep, just love it. So that is the walk around of the sim rig, Simlabs P1-X with triple monitor build. All right, final thoughts next. Okay, sim racers, so we've finished the build of the Simlabs P1-X and the triple monitor stand. I hope you enjoyed that build process. Hopefully I brought something different to the table that would help you identify if this is something that you would want to purchase for yourself. So let's just jump into the pros and cons and final thoughts on it. Now, this particular rig I bought with all the accessories that most sim racers would want on their build, you know, like the rim holders, the keyboard stand, mouse stand, the floorboard, you know, it's kind of a little extra. That one you could skip if you wanted to. PC mounts, one you could skip if you wanted to. But cup holders definitely would probably be one of them you would get. So there's only a couple accessories you would probably skip, you know, as an add-on later on. Although it does build up the whole aesthetics of the rig and usability of it as well. But kicker mounts, I think, are probably a pretty popular one as well. Heusinkveld shifter mount would be popular as well too. So with all that said, you know, here's the cons list. The only really big con of this one, there's two cons. So Heusinkveld bracket kit, it came with the wrong length screws on it. I'll just knock that out of the way real quick. Like I mentioned in the build, that was the only con. However, I had so many extra screws it didn't really matter, and I still got a ton of extra screws as well. So you know, the crisis averted. But the only other con that I would see that people would run into would be the price. So the price is up there. You know, this whole build with the triple monitor stand was close to 1,700 USD shipped to me. So, you know, you're paying a little bit extra in shipping coming from the Netherlands. However, the shipping was extremely fast to get to me, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. And that it was so quick. You know, it took probably a couple weeks to get to me. However, I like that they probably waited to tell me when it shipped, because when they told me it shipped, you know, it was already at the docks or picked up or something, because it didn't take but a week to get to me after I got notification that it shipped. So that was nice and quick shipping. But the price, of course, is the issue maybe for you. Now, this is priced up there somewhere in the realms of something like an R seat, like an N1 R seat or the S1 R seats. You know, those are priced around $1,250 for just the actual the stand itself, you know, which actually does include a seat as well. And you know, it would hold, you know, most of your accessories and stuff that you'd want. But that's without any, that's just with the pedal tray and the motor mount as far as your wheel mount and stuff goes, and a seat. And then you got another $369 for a triple monitor mount. So all in all, you're still spending around $1,620 for something like an R seat. I think that's probably the one that's most comparable price wise, and is probably as sturdy, maybe as sturdy as this one. I have not reviewed an N1 yet. I have had R seats before, and they've always been pretty good. However, I could say that the endless possibilities of a Simlabs P1 is far beyond what I experienced with any other product for that matter. So you get what you pay for is what I'm saying, but I could see some people consider that as a con as far as the price to purchase. However, just keep in mind, once you buy it once, you you won't be buying another one. Unless you threw this off the roof of your house, there's no really need to replace it from damage. You're just going to be buying more extrusion to add on to it to further your projects along. So this stuff is so fun to actually build with that you start to look around your house of what you can start building without out of this aluminum extrusion. So, but with that said, that's the only 2 cons that I found out of this whole build. So get into the pros. Oh my gosh, there's so many pros on this. You've got from the build materials, from the all aluminum build of 80/20 extrusion, the stainless steel or hardened bolts. Even have nylon threaded where needed for like your wheel deck and stuff. The fit and finish of black anodized or maybe it's powder coated. It just looks stellar and just professional looking. When you get into this, as far as aesthetics go and stuff, you noticing this all black design. It just looks great. It's you want to be a little bit careful that you don't scratch it up, but you pretty much only scratch it up as if you bump the other aluminum extrusion corners into the extrusion itself. Is kind of the only way I've noticed that I've scratched it up though. But and then making some small adjustments with your hardware, you could scratch it up a little bit. But you get a really good, robust, solid build when you get done with this thing. So, and going on as far as building goes, another pro is it is very easy to assemble. Probably the only thing that was difficult, not really even difficult, was the monitor mount. Building the monitor mount was easy. It was more or less just adjusting the monitors and stuff to where you really wanted them to be. So that was the only thing that was a little bit cumbersome. So that's no fault of the build. It actually helped that everything was so secure and solid in the triple mount that once I set it, it was easy to set where I wanted it, and it hold true. They're hold true as far as being level and not easily get out of adjustment or anything, especially once you tighten everything up. So really good, easy to assemble setup. It was actually a lot of fun to set up, which is as much importance to me as it is it being a solid build afterwards. So, but speaking of the build, it's very solid. It's satisfying to use when you step into this rig and get in and out. You just feel like a baller, man. It's just a big, strong rig for you to set in. I'm 250 pounds with motion. And it's like stepping out of something like a Honda Civic into a Ford Raptor. It just feels substantially stronger than any other rig that you ever got into. So I really like it. Now you can get, the accessories are abundant with this rig. Another pro, I like the 6-inch lift with the sim feet. Really good. I can help bring me up off the ground, so I step up into a rig instead of down into a rig. For the youngsters, it's not a big deal. Even for me, it's not a big deal to step down into it. But I can imagine as older sim racers get older, they may not like stepping down into a rig as opposed to stepping up into a rig. A little bit more comfortable to get in and out of in the long run. So think of it like stepping up into a truck as opposed to stepping down into a car. So it's just definitely easy to get in and out of. But another ability I love that you have, another pro is you can hook up the Next Level Racing V3 Motion to it. It's probably one of the most popular motion rigs out there. And you can hook that on up in here with the easy to purchase brackets. Remember, get 2 of them. They only come one to box, so you will need 2 of them. You got assorted mounting brackets to purchase if you wanted to. That's another great thing. So if you can just pre-purchase that stuff from Simlabs ahead of time. So that's a nice pro. Or you can look on Amazon, and there's a lot of 80/20 out there that you can get, as well as all the brackets. The only thing I haven't found on Amazon was those cross cable binders, and you will want to get some of those. I would say 40 or 50 of them. So about 4 packs are like $7.95 a piece. When I checked elsewhere, they were like $1.40 per little binder. So it's not too bad of a price to buy them ahead of time from Simlabs, even if you're getting more than you need. Also, love the cup holder, another pro, and the butt kicker plates. I can't say enough about those, and it's really attributing to such a strong rig that those work so well, knocking down the unnecessary rattles that you get traditionally with other rigs and stuff. So with all that, let's jump into the final thoughts. So final thoughts wise, if you have the funds, it's well worth it. You're buying a top tier product here. It's higher on the list. This is a product that you can mount to anything, any kind of motion rig you can mount up to it. You can do all the various motion actuators you can adjust and put on this one. I'm trying to think of like the any motion like P1 cockpit. If you wanted to put a P1, put this on top of a P1 cockpit, you could do that as well. If I actually plan on moving up to D-Box, so this is one of the reasons why I got this one. I'll add the D-Box motion to this later on as well. So yeah, just the adaptability to it is just stellar. So nothing else to say about that besides that it's endless of what you can adapt to this thing. So even when you got products that haven't came out yet, you'll find that you will have an easy time adapting them to this particular rig. So all right, well, other than that, it's all good. I mean, you can't say too much more about this thing. It is a fantastic rig. I highly recommend it. This isn't a paid review. This is me buying it from the channel myself and building it and putting it together, and without any influence from anybody else. So just a normal sim racer out there buying the products, and I love it. So that's how I like to do it. Be able to buy some stuff that I know that I'm going to use in long term and put it through its paces. And I've put this thing through a lot of paces already for over a week now, and I don't see anything even coming loose or anything like that. So everything is just solid. So just rigid is the thing that comes to mind for this build. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this whole huge long build review and the pros and cons and final thoughts. Hope everything was helpful for you. And until next time, we'll see you on the track. I'm out of here.